In today's video, we're addressing some very interesting NHL rumors which could see Arizona Coyotes John Chayka be leaving the franchise as general manager. Plus, there's some talk that we might have some more NHL prospects heading over to Europe. And as teams get ready to head into their NHL bubbles for the return to play, we have several injury updates to discuss as well. We'll jump into all the latest news coming up next. Welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. Now, as I mentioned, we have a variety of things to talk about today. I want to kick things off, though, with some injury updates. Of course, teams are getting ready to head into their NHL bubbles. Between today and tomorrow, NHL teams are heading to their bubble cities to get all situated for the return to play. We will only be a short time away here before we have some NHL exhibition games, followed by the actual meaningful play-in series. Any meaningful games, but starting off here with the play-in series coming up on August 1st. So we're getting really close here. Now, as far as injury updates, one big one that came out today as a bit of a surprise is Ilya Samsonov, goaltender for the Washington Capitals, will not be participating in this return to play. Apparently, he suffered some sort of injury prior to Phase 3, I believe it was, and he's not going to be able to be recovered and play during this summer's action at all. So he is expected to be fully recovered and ready to go when the following season gets underway, which is likely looking at like November, December. But for right now, that's a big blow for the Capitals. I mean, thankfully, they do have veteran Braden Holtby still under contract. He is a pending unrestricted free agent. So it's a pretty big opportunity for him because, to be honest, I'm not sure there was a clear-cut answer that he was going to be, the starting guy heading into the playoffs if he didn't get a chance to really play a lot. And Samsonov kind of stole the thunder from him and was the main guy playing. That could have had a big impact on his ability for his next contract heading into the offseason. So obviously Holtby has another opportunity to kind of redeem his lack of consistent play in the past couple of regular seasons with some solid playoff hockey. If he helps Washington go on a deep playoff run or another Stanley Cup, that's certainly going to have major impacts on his next contract. He prepares for unrestricted free agency this offseason. So big blow for Washington. Certainly if Holtby gets injured, that leaves a big hole for their next third string goaltender to be able to come in and play. So we'll see what happens in Washington. Now, as far as goaltenders go, some better news in Chicago. Looks as though Corey Crawford is returning to the team and likely will be available for their series against the Edmonton Oilers. Now, he's yet to participate in Phase 2 or Phase 3, but we did find out some more details as to why. During some interviews today, he did reveal the fact that he had tested positive for COVID-19. So obviously, he was recovering from that and had to go through all the protocols and the negative testing before he could, be part of the Phase 3 action. But so he did skate today, and he will be going with the team to their hub city here. So I know I heard Captain Jonathan Toews make note that many teams and many players need a lot of prep time, but Corey Crawford's not one of those guys. He seems to be able to jump in with limited, prepared time and kind of be himself. So that's great news for Chicago. There was a big question mark, and I know myself, I really thought they're going to be really being tough against the Oilers in a high-powered offense without some solid goaltending, and Crawford certainly is their best chance at getting that. So good news on that front. Obviously, like I said, more NHL players are starting to speak out about having tested positive. So Crawford's now one of those guys that have revealed that. Speaking of players who have revealed that they tested positive, we did get word on some players from the Montreal Canadiens. A couple of their defensemen, Xavier Ouellet and Brett Kulak, both have tested positive previously during this return to play period, and of course have both since recovered as well. Of course, we had word a few weeks back that there was a few Habs players that had tested positive, and we now know who they were since they decided to unveil that information. Now, another blow for the Carolina Hurricanes. They got Dougie Hamilton back when Phase 3 was finally getting started, and now he's injured again, somewhat of an extended period of time. It's believed to be weeks, not months this time, but still, even weeks is bad. If he's out for a few weeks, he could very well miss either most or all of the opening round series that they're going to have to battle against the New York Rangers. And if they don't end up proceeding, obviously without him in the lineup, then his season could effectively be over. But that's a bad blow. The Canes' blue line was badly banged up into the regular season when it was paused, and they thought they were coming back with a lot more recoveries, and Now they lose Hamilton, who was on pace for a Norris-type season before the injury earlier. So that's really unfortunate news. In regards to one of the other top defensemen in Carolina, Brett Pesce, he is not returning as of yet, but he wasn't expected to either. He is on pace to return in approximately a month or so, which is what was been expected all along. Of course, when he was first hurt, had surgery, they felt that he would be basically recovered in time to participate in training camp, which normally would have been in October, so he should be good to go sometime around end of August, early September. He is going to be on the roster for Phase 4 of the return to play, so if he becomes available and you're still in it, then he can join the team and participate at that point in time. Now, another note on Chicago, Brent Seabrook, longtime defenseman and veteran guy, is not going to be playing during this return to play after all. I mean, he's recovered from multiple surgeries that he was shut down earlier this offseason. I know he came back, looked like he was having a decent training camp. I heard comments from him saying that he felt much better, but apparently not good enough to participate and really be close enough to be 100%. That he felt it was worth pushing it and pushing his recovery here. It sounds like it was kind of his choice to kind of opt out, not feeling strong enough and well enough to play in these playoffs, but at least that's the information I've seen so far. But Brent Seabrook will definitely not be in the lineup for the Chicago Blackhawks versus the Edmonton Oilers. Now, as I mentioned as well, there's also some rumors, and I think they look to be pretty much confirmed, that some of the more prospects are heading over to play in Europe, since many leagues in North America and the minor pros and NCAA, etc., are very questionable on when they're going to be starting. I know I've seen Detroit Red Wings might be sending some prospects over. Filip Zadina appears to be heading back to play in the Czech Republic. Of course, that's where he's originally from. He played a year of junior hockey for the Halifax Mooseheads before being drafted. And this past season spent the year playing pro hockey between Detroit and their AHL affiliate. It looks as though he's likely going to be joined by fellow Detroit Red Wing top prospect Joe Veleno as well. And they might be sending others. A move that makes a lot of sense if they're not able to play in the American Hockey League and there's no other leagues in North America where they can really fit, and the NHL is not going to be, starting up on time, and especially for these teams that are already out of it, it makes sense to get these guys on the ice, get them developing and getting on the ice and playing hockey, rather than just sitting around doing training. Obviously, you can only train so much. Getting on the ice means a whole lot of difference for some of these players. So Zadina and Veleno and others appear to be heading over there to play, and I would not be surprised if we find out, especially from the other NHL teams that are not in this return to play, that their prospects will be likely heading over there to play this fall. Now, of course, I also saw word that Jack Drury, who was one of the Carolina Hurricanes' top prospects, was at Harvard in the NCAA, and he appears to be heading over to play in European League as well. So obviously, that's another top prospect heading there. And Elias Anderson, who's already playing in Sweden, Rangers prospect. Anderson appears to be remaining over there, and it seems to be under contract, from what I can gather, for another season. Based on the information that was put out on social media from Anderson, it looks as though he's going to be playing in Europe next year. And on that contract he has, very well might have an NHL out clause if he turns out to be traded and is given an opportunity, wants to make the jump. I'm not sure if that's going to be possible or not, but he's definitely staying in Europe for at least the time being. Now, the big rumor of the day that's been on social media here really since last night is John Chayka, GM of the Arizona Coyotes. Is he still with the team? Is he fired? What is going on? There's been a lot of talk, a lot of speculation, really over the last 3 or 4 days, but it's really heated up here in the last 24 hours. And the last few times we talked about Taylor Hall, we discussed the fact that there's a lot of rumors about some meetings that he's having between ownership and new CEO and president, Xavier Gutierrez. And Chayka hasn't been part of it. His agent, Darren Ferris, didn't seem to be involved either. Basically seemed to be Hall meeting with ownership and his top employee, and obviously just a lot of confusion around why that would be. Why would Chayka not be involved? And a lot more information has come to light, but we don't really have a definitive answer 100% that Chayka is with or not with the team any longer. But all signs are pointing to the fact that he is no longer the GM in Arizona, and I do find it somewhat confusing why they haven't confirmed this, because as we get into this, you'll kind of see why. Now, here's a snippet of a story from Elliot Friedman on Sportsnet.ca, kind of outlining some of the information. Of course, some of it also comes from Arizona Coyotes insider Craig Morgan, talking about the fact that earlier during the NHL pause, sometime during this pandemic, John Chayka of the Coyotes was presented with some sort of other business opportunity. It doesn't really clear exactly what it was. We did find out that it doesn't appear to be a lateral move. It doesn't appear to be with another NHL franchise, but obviously they were approached about Chayka's availability. Now, he was believed to be under contract as GM of the Coyotes for 3 more seasons. So obviously for any other NHL team or any other really business companies out there looking to talk to him about employment, they'd have to have permission and consent to do so. And it appears as though that was granted from ownership for Chayka to explore the opportunity. Then it seems like the opportunity was explored by Chayka, seemed to be a legit opportunity, and as it became realistic that it was likely going to happen, things kind of changed, and they kind of had a change of heart here on how they were going to handle it, as kind of what it looks like. And basically the relationship between the ownership and Chayka seemed to have fallen apart. Now, I've seen talk that his office has already been cleared out. I've seen reports that he's not going to be on the list of people for the Coyotes heading into the NHL bubble, because you're only allowed so many people between players and staff, etc. So a lot of confusion here. Obviously, it makes sense, though, that if he's not going to be proceeding being the GM of the Coyotes, why the president and CEO, Xavier Gutierrez, is handling negotiations. As I mentioned before, he has a long-standing relationship with owner Alex Marullo. They've done a lot of business together before, a lot of negotiating, a lot of different sales, and obviously it makes sense that he trusts them to kind of handle those negotiations while they're maybe considering, bringing in somebody to replace Chayka, because it looks as though they're headed for a divorce and he's not going to be back. Like I said, there's already been reports that his office is cleaned out, but we're waiting on confirmation that he is no longer with the team, that he's been released or fired. I'm not sure how they're going to word this, but John Chayka has been contacted by numerous media looking for comments, and he's not responding to anybody, which kind of makes sense. He's probably waiting for the team to make an announcement before he can actually speak about it. And obviously the team's not saying anything either. I know Craig Morgan had reached out to team sources and asked point blank, is he still the general manager of the Coyotes? And their response was no comment. I mean, that seems extremely odd to me. If he was still working with the franchise and this was all some kind of misunderstanding or the rumor was not true, you would think that they would kind of dispel it and say, like, yes, he's definitely still with the franchise. Not sure what you're referring to. It's something to that effect to kind of tone the rumors down. But in fact, every time, whether it be Craig Morgan, Elliot Friedman, or these other insiders try to get information, and seems to be adding more fuel to the fire, that it is indeed true. And we're just confused as to why the Coyotes franchise are not being more forthcoming with the information on that. I mean, there was some talk before. Could it have been the fact that the Arizona Coyotes were being investigated, as I mentioned before, over testing of junior age players, that they were meeting with players outside of the NHL draft combine, doing different testing to kind of have an inside edge on drafting. And I know a lot of other NHL franchises were very upset about that. And maybe they were being punished in some kind of capacity. Maybe Chayka was suspended, but the NHL never said anything, or, I don't know. But that seems to all be untrue at this point. Nobody seems to be able to confirm that it's any kind of discipline. It just seems as though they're headed for divorce over an opportunity that Chayka was interested in outside of this. I know I've seen some talk that if he did go to another NHL franchise, it would make sense that maybe it would be Ottawa. It's been known that they're looking for a new president to kind of work above Pierre Dorion as a buffer between he and ownership. Of course, former part owner of the Coyotes, Anthony LeBlanc, works with the Senators now, so there's a connection there. He's from Ontario, so from a family perspective, maybe it'd be interesting. But at this point, we have no reason to believe that that's the case at all. Like I said, the information that was come out from Friedman and Morgan seemed to indicate that it's not with another NHL franchise. It's not a lateral move, so it seemed to be some sort of big-time business opportunity for him to obviously take a step up and really go forward. I mean, Chayka's a young man. He's one of the few GMs get into this at such a young age. He was only 26 when he was first hired by the Coyotes, so he's only be around 30 years old now. I don't know exactly when his birthday is, but still, he's a young guy and has plenty of time ahead of him for numerous opportunities. He's a bright guy, so I'm not surprised to see that he would be looking into other opportunities. So I guess we'll have to wait for confirmation, but it sounds as though Chayka's time in Arizona is all but done. Let me know your thoughts on something discussed today down in the comments, and we can continue discussing further. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, turning on your notifications so you don't miss any future content, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I'd appreciate it if you did. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.